Now we are reaching the most interesting part of Dash, how to make your Dash apps interactive. Here comes the concept of callbacks. Callbacks are used to allow the user of your app to trigger changes in the app. In order to define a callback, you have to follow two small steps. First, create the callback decorator and its attribute, input and output, which respectively contain the component which the user, for example, click on the app, and the component that will be changed through this interaction. Concretely, you store the ID and the value of the component with which the user interacts in the input attribute of your callback decorator, and in the output attribute of your callback decorator, you store the ID and the value of the component that will change or be updated. After the callback decorator is created and the input and output defined, you can now come to the concrete part, the update that should occur. So, you define the name or signature of your callback function and the input parameter. Remember, it is, for example, the component on which a user will click. It means you already declared and defined this component, and then, like we said previously, you added it in the app callback decorator. Then you add a return statement followed by the return value of the callback function, which will be the new value of the component to be updated. Remember, this is the component of which you add the ID and the value in the app callback decorator. This is how the entire callback function would look like. In this example, the value of a div component should be updated with the value of an input field. Here we have a concrete code where the previous callback is used, and right, you have the output. So in the code, we specified in the app layout a DCC input, which is the input field, and a HTML div. In the app callback, we specify that the output of the callback is the HTML div we declared in the app layout by assigning to it the ID of the HTML div and its value. In the input of the app callback function, we add the ID of the input field declared below and also its value. Then in the main function, we return the value, the actual value of this div is, plus the input value of our input field. So as you can see it, right, the initial output of our code will be an input field with the text bonjour, and below a div with the value, the actual value of this div is bonjour. As in the code, we specify that the value of our input field should be bonjour. Then on the second screenshot, right, you can see that we have in our input field hello, and below we have the actual value of this div is hello. Basically, anytime you change something in the input field, the content of the div below changes too. You can do this with all other components depending on your needs. With these concepts of dash components and callbacks, you are now equipped to build a simple or more or less complex data visualization